when you're on with someone, and again, like a lot of you have this problem. It's such a funny problem where like people are trying to have sales conversations with you when you're like at the end of yoga class or in line at the grocery store. And they're like, why? Because the first question is, what's your biggest challenge? So people come up to you with their biggest challenge. Has anyone actually been at like a get together and maybe it's potluck or something, and like all of a sudden someone comes up to you and they're like starting to tell you their biggest challenge, like your opener question, and like they're in it. It just wasn't scheduled, but they're in it. And that's a problem, because if you look at how many questions you need to ask them for it actually to be a sales conversation, it means that you're just going to help them for free. Who's in the like, oh yeah, I kind of do help people for free. And I'm not saying don't help people for free. It's just, it's not going to help you double your income. It's not going to actually help the person get to results either. So you're not going to win on either of those two accounts. So as long as you understand the level of disservice it could be to have a conversation where they're talking about their biggest challenge and you don't have a protected, quiet environment in which to ask the follow-up questions to that, which again looks something like this or something like this, right? So the in-person or not in-person version of it, you can't really be that helpful to them. All right, so what's the goal? What's the challenge? So again, they're going to start with their challenge usually, and I always back up. Always. Some of you have heard, like some of you are so used to me laser coaching, those of you who are in courses with us, right? And you'll notice that I'll often be like, time out or stop. Like, I need to know the goal, your goal in your words. Because boy, I have a goal for my cousin. You can imagine I've had a goal for my cousin for a long time. And how well has that served either of us? Does anyone do that? Like, you have goals for people. You have goals for your yoga students or your goals for your clients, right? But you don't know what their goals are in their timeline, in their terms, in their competing priorities. So you need to find out. And that's really, again, back up until you really have a clear understanding of the goal, of the timeline for that goal. Because someone's like, I want to lose 50 pounds. Okay, great. Like, is 10 years a good timeline? No. Is 2 weeks a good timeline? No. People are going to answer this question. It might seem obvious to you what the timeline should be, but I guarantee you'll be surprised. If you do enough sales conversations, you'll actually learn a lot about people and their goals and their timeline, and letting yourself be surprised is good. You need to go into these conversations, again, with an agenda and also without an agenda. So an agenda in terms of the questions, but without an agenda that the conversation should lead to a sale. And that's how you truly become of service. Okay, so once you are very clear on the goal, the goal should be SMART, meaning specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-bound. I will, if I'm gonna let S, M, A, R, or T go, I'm gonna let R go first, realistic. Because I believe in exponential growth, and I've had clients that have experienced exponential growth. So like, to me, realism is relative and less important, but I do need to be specific and measurable and bound by time. The S, the M, and the T are really important. The A is too, that like, it's something that I'm confident I can help someone with. That's actionable. We can take action on it. Okay, now we need to know priority. Once we know the goal, the challenge, what's the priority? Like, what else? What's getting in their way now? What's already gotten in their way? How willing are they? You know, why hasn't this happened yet? And these conversations are real and deep. If I don't answer an objection in this part, I'm going to need to answer it later when they've already said no. And then it's harder. They've already justified why they can't do it because you rush through this part. Has anyone done this? You rush through the part, you drop the information about the journey, you drop the price point, and now the objections come up. So it's like wrong order of things. Like, try to find the objections before so that you know what you're dealing with before. Okay, how willing are they to meet their goal? What is it worth? This question, what is it worth? Oh, it's worth the world. Great. What does that mean? What's the monetary value? Like, how much would you pay right now if you were on the other side of this? And then once you have a really clear grasp on all of that, then would you like to hear how I can help you? I would never make an offer before I understood these things. You know, I'm not saying in the past when I was a rookie, I didn't do this all the freaking time, because usually you have to learn some of these things the hard way, right? Where you're like, oh, I kind of blew it in that situation. Now I'm back to to all these objections that came up, because I actually didn't know that the priority was this before it was that. And people are busy. If anything right now, like, busy is the new black. It's not even the new black. It's now the outdated black. It's been through the washing machine too many times, and it's like a faded black, right? But people are excessively busy. So you're all going to fight that, because it's actually one of the symptoms of chronic inflammation. Bummer, right? So it's like, that's the sea that everyone's swimming in. And that's going to make it just makes it actually harder for people. It kind of goes back to that. Why? The question is, why do people not buy what they actually need? Why are they not investing in their goals in a way that's really smart? And that's part of the confusion and the brain fog that's part of chronic inflammation.